It's not hard to really realize that as far as interracialism goes and, integration and swirling, that I'm not the biggest fan of it. I wouldn't even really say that I'm an enemy of it. Like, do date whoever you want to, have sex with whoever you want to. Like, that's you. So, I'm not going to try even to control somebody. But what it has actually led to and what it leads to and is being against any sort of actual black culture or anything where you want to be with black people around you. You wake up, you go out into the world, and you come back and you try to have a black circle somewhere where you can go, and then inevitably you have interracialists wanting to come in and say, well, why can't I bring in my white girlfriend? Why can't I bring in my white boyfriend? Why can't I bring in my white friends all around? Which, if you want to hang out with white people, that's fine. I never had a problem hanging out with white people. I hang out with whoever I want to hang out with. But I would forever understand that when there are arenas for black people to do things and talk and communicate, then that's our spots. Like, that's our places. That's not just places for anybody and everybody to jump into. Like, we have to have our own spots. And interrationists are they're like the first ones kicking in the door, talking about what places and things and what's going on that we got to invite everybody else in. And it's only really for sexual access. Like, they're not doing things like inviting everybody else in and saying, let's talk about business. It's like they bring everybody else in and then turn around and like, I like him, he's cute. I like her, she's fine. For those purposes, like, whenever we get invited into other people's squares, we end up talking about how we're going to spend money there. But we never bring them into ours talking about how they're going to spend money here. It's always like sexual access and like that's it. And then it's just damaging. Because then when you look at places like internet dating and you look at their Facebook page and their website and you look at Beyond Black and White, which is a crazy place ran by Kristen Karazan, like, that woman is nuts. Like, these are people who really think like white people are going to champion, you know, black women and supporting black women. And it's like, you're never going to get there. Like, white men are not going to champion black women and positive black women. For one, if they did, white women would lose their shit. And they're supposed to. Like, white women are supposed to want to lose their shit, because the glorification and defense that white women get, they shouldn't want anybody else partaking in that. And the same thing with Asian women and Arab women and Latin women. And these women are like, hey, you know what? We're going to bury Dr. Dre. Like, that guy has the resources and things to bring you the positive black images and the defense of black women. And he can do it. And he can start to build that culture of black men doing it. And they're like, nope, we're gonna bury him. Like, we're gonna attack Dr. Dre because, and then we're gonna beg white men to do what they're never gonna do, because white men aren't gonna do, even for the less than 1% of white men who are trying to date and marry black women. That small percentage, like, they're not gonna do that for you. And those men in there understand that they're not even gonna ask for it to be done. Like, they're not gonna try to build that, because white women would lose their shit, and black women should lose their shit when you have black men building something to defend non-black women. And like, interracialists don't really understand that these women are in a position that you're not going to be defended by white men. You're not going to have positive images built by non-black men. Like, you're going to have to go and have black men do that. Because even if white women were okay with it, white men are like, nope, we give that to our women. And even if white men were like okay with it, white women would lose their collective shits over it. Like they would be held to pay when you're taking our resources and resources that are built for us and defense that is built for us, and you give it to the negresses. Like, no, you would see just how few white female friends you would have if black women started getting that. You would know that you would go from saying, oh, we have a few black friends to a few white friends, rather, to, yeah, I don't hang out with no white girls no more. They don't want to hang out with me. Like, no, like, you're never going to get that. Like, once you start encroaching on another group of people's resources and defense, and especially women, like, no, they draw the line quick. So that's why I'm not really a big fan of interracialism, because they're always continuously gravitating to either these to breaking down black society and like worshiping white society, and then condemning black society for not having what white society has, while not even trying to build anything that white society has. Like, you're not even over here trying to build that, but you want to curse black society for not having it, and then you want to glorify white society for having it. Like, come on, get your hands dirty, get down there and do it. It's like these women over there, like beyond black and white, like you see them all the time, and they're like, they hate the black community. Like, these are black women, and the thing about it is, when they become failed bed wenches, they're gonna become like, oh yeah, I returned home. Like, I talked to a failed bed wench the other day, and she was like, I returned home, and I asked her why, and she was just like, oh, well, it was just time for her to come back home. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Why did you go over there? And then she's like, oh, jungle fever. And I'm like, jungle fever? Like, this chick is like 25 years old. Like, that movie, how old is Jungle Fever? But then it's the same thing. It's like, whenever you're a failed bed wench, never talk about any of the nightmares that go over there. Never talk about any of the gangbangs. Never talk about how these white so-called boyfriends be having black women doing sexual things. Yeah, we all, and some of us have been privy to some of the conversations with a few bed wenches and failed bed wenches, and to know what goes on over there, and the abuse, and being called every type of nigga that you could imagine. We know it. We up on that. We got that. But never mind that. Just return back, and and you love black men so much. Like, that's the thing that gets me, is them walking around being just like, I love black men. Well, what do you love about black men? Oh, like everything. And it's the same women who decide, the same interracialists. And it's the same, and really, even when you see men do that, like you do see men do that, they're the same one. They're like, I hate black women because of, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I used to date white girls. And now black women are just so, they say so lovely. Like, it's like, as soon as you get the rules on interracialism, that you are limited over there, and you have to return back to black society with your tail between your legs, they don't even want to discuss what's going on over there. That's why I keep on saying, like, these people, you don't think that that's coming back damaged? Like, that person's coming back to black society damaged. They're damaged emotionally, they're damaged psychologically, they're just everything, mentally, everything is just damaged physically. They're just broken down. Like, what part of, if Chrisline Carrizon gets divorced tomorrow, next week she'll be banging on how great black men are, because you should be done over there as far as well, and she'll be finished. So then she'll become pro dating black men, and she'll become anti black men dating anything except black women. She will not like, she doesn't like it now. So could you imagine if she just had to tail between her legs back to black society? Like she would want to stack the deck as much in her side as possible. And then like, what part of legacy building is she bringing? Like once you have a failed interracialist, they're not concerned about coming over to black society and building like legacies and family cultures and everything. They're not interested in that. Most of these women, like at 30, 35, 40 years old, like they're trying to avoid becoming a cat lady. Like they're trying to not be, single for the rest of their life. They're trying to not be 55 and dating and never married. Like you really think like they look at like 60-year-old women with their boyfriends, like they're like, no. They would rather spend like 30 years with a guy and he dies, and then they get back out into the dating world and have a boyfriend that way. But do you really think that they want to turn from being like 30, 35 years old and being like, no? So what part of like she's not caring? Like as soon as you take her, she's not caring about you building a legacy and passing it down. She's like, well, I got what I wanted. I'm not going to be single and solo for the rest of my life. So of course that's what she's gonna be up on. And like as men, man, we have to admit it. Like we have to get that. We have to understand that's out there. That's why me personally, I'd be like, no. I don't date interracialists because you're not going to be about building a legacy. Like, what part of legacy building are you going to be about when you are out there bowing at the altars of white males? And if you've been in if you've been in white collar America and you've been in corporate America, then man, the things that you see, these women are in these offices and in these positions and they're damn near bending over to white men. They're like ignoring any brothers that come in, like you're secondary. Like you serve a specific purpose, and once they return back to it, it's like, hey, your purpose is to ensure that they don't end up being alone for the rest of their lives. So it really doesn't matter about like legacy building. They're looking at you and they're like, no, like, do you want any more kids? No, I already got like 2 biracial kids, or I got like 1 black kid and 1 biracial kid, and I don't want any more kids. Like she's not caring, or she doesn't have any kids, and she's like, I don't want to have any kids. That's a woman that set her sights on having some white guy's kids, and now because she can't, she'll be with you because she's looking out for self, but she's not gonna have your kids, and she doesn't want to. Like she doesn't even want to have your kids. I mean, hell, look at all of Holly Berry's ex-husbands and black guys that she dated. Like all of them have kids with women now. Like they have kids. The first time she had kids, and she was married. And the first time she has kids is like with a white guy. Like now, like, yeah, it doesn't even matter. Let me go have 2 kids with 2 different white men. Like, I don't care. But that's also a reason why I say, and I'll go in on another video on why I keep saying that, like, biracials, like, you can't include biracials into, like, black woman culture. You can't include biracials into, like, black culture, like, wholeheartedly. Like, yeah, you're just in, like, the rest of us are in. But that's something else that we go into. And like this is just purely on watching interracialists. Like you gotta watch them and keep them, because man, they're always on something that's going to end up backfiring. It's just going to end up sending a gunshot through black society. So just always watch interracialists. Like remember interracialism, remember interracialism, and really we done had 50 years of watching interracialism go. How good has it been for black society? Ain't been good at all.